Hey there folks, and welcome to episode 5 of Circuits. As you can see, we're in the Cirrus again, and we thought we had a storm in the last episode, but this is a proper storm going on right now. As you can see, we have a wet runway conditions. It's raining, you can hear thunder. This is going to be interesting. So again, as you know, I'm a complete novice when it comes to this aircraft, but anyway, what could possibly go wrong? Actually, we'll use the right tank to get down to the same amount of fuel. Right, so master switch, fuel pump. Oh, that was the flaps going, so that's kind of cool. That's a nice feature of this aircraft if you forget, which you wouldn't, of course, because you'd be following a checklist. So fuel boost. Yeah, I'm a bit nervous about this, guys, to be perfectly honest. Right, what have I feel like I've forgotten something. Yes, I didn't crack this last time. So we should hopefully get a good start. Lovely stuff. Right. Alternators on, avionics on, nav and strobe on. Okay. So let me show you where we are. As I said, we're in the Bahamas. We're in this airport. It's an international airport apparently, and it's called Rock Sound, which I kind of thought was quite lovely. So but I don't know how much of the scenery we're going to see today given the weather, but we're going to get up there and have a fly around this bay, maybe even do a touch and go here. I don't know, we'll see what the weather's like, but like I said, I could use all the practice I can get in this aircraft, especially with the taxiing. So without further ado, let's get the show on the road. So I'm stepping on my left brake, not to the maximum, and I'm easing off it, and as I do that, I'm hoping you should pick up speed. There we go. Once you're in, it's then about controlling it to the point where you don't where's the taxi? Oh, it's there. Okay, well, we're gonna not taxi 100% according to the law. So if you're in the Bahamas on, what date is it today? Is it the 2nd? Yeah, Sunday the 2nd. You should be experiencing a thunderstorm if you're in this part of the world. So let us know if you are. Like I said, the weather is fed in via Active Sky Next, which is incredibly accurate. Whoops. And even models, so I'm told, like cloud cells, it doesn't depict, obviously it's impossible to depict actual cloud cells from the area, but it does actually model them, and they have their own physics inside them and wind speeds and all that sort of stuff. So it's very, very clever stuff. Right, we'll just check nothing's coming into land on finals, and we know that nothing is. Look at that wind. That is not going to be good. Right, we'll do one stage of flaps for takeoff, and our landing light needs to come on. Oops, and I've come to a complete standstill. And this is going to be interesting, so hold on to your hats, guys. Let's hope we can do this with some level of proficiency. Highly doubtful. But anyway, let's go for it. Right, so I'm holding... Ooh, we've got a lot of wind there, so loads of rudder, loads of right rudder. And we're looking for 75 knots-ish to rotate. There we go. Alright, so I'm still feeding in the rudder, and we seem to be fairly level. Oops, my feet are too far up on the brakes now. Right, flaps up. So far so good. This is stock scenery, so I don't have any scenery for the Caribbean, but it looks alright to me. Looks pretty good. Anyway, concentrate on flying. That's the most important thing. Right, so we're going to do a kind of a swoop around this bay, won't we? So let's stick to that plan. Just pulling back. Yeah, I don't mind getting a look at this water, to be honest. So I'm just going to interrupt the climb. Just want to see how it looks. Especially interested in like the wave animation. I think I've got my water on high, not ultra, but I think you should still be able to see the waves moving. I might be wrong though. Can't see much movement actually. Maybe not. Maybe it does have to be on ultra. Okay. That's another reason I need to upgrade my graphics card. It's done me proud actually, this 760 GTX. It's been alright. But yeah, definitely time to move on. Okay, look at this weather. This is looking really murky and misty and nasty over here. We're definitely going to run into some turbulence if we go this way. In fact, I just mentioned the T word and I think already we're starting to bounce around. What do you think? Should we try and do a touch and go, or maybe even a full stop landing? No, let's do a touch and go in this crazy weather. This is a bad idea. I'm actually going to try and get us there a bit quicker, provided we don't run into too much turbulence. Trim it down a little bit, there we go. So I guess the airport should be somewhere over there. So we'll just bank round. And then we'll fly and land a bit and see if we can do a touch and go. Now you do, obviously, with touch and goes, right up until the point of contact, I believe you treat it like any other normal landing. So you don't, you don't land at a faster speed than you usually would. It's exactly the same. Right, I'm just going to ease back on the throttle now. And so here's some turbulence. But yeah, so we're going to try this again. Any landings, what I should do is spend just some nice lightning. That's kind of quite, it's rendered quite accurately. Again, courtesy of Rex textures, Rex 4 it is. Really good stuff. The sounds as well. Okay, there's the airfield. Things aren't too turbulent, so what we're going to do is just slow down a bit. Maybe we're a bit fast for flaps, I think. I don't know what the flap speeds are. Oh, hang on, maneuvering speed. Oh, no, that doesn't help. I thought it might have given us a flap speed. This is a tiny little runway, so I'm not sure actually that we're going to make this, because we're quite high and we're pretty fast. And now there's suddenly loads of turbulence. Brilliant. Well, let's try and go for this. Anyway, it's not going to be pretty. We know that. If you were in the back right now, you'd probably be pooing yourself a bit. I'd pass around some sick bags, so it'd be fine. Last year, flying into Riga, experienced some pretty awful turbulence through a thunderstorm. We were coming into Riga and the whole city was encased in a pretty prolific thunderstorm. And in that sort of situation, there's not much you can do about it other than just, as long as it's, you know, the wind is safe, you just got to battle through it. And we did actually get hit by lightning, which was quite an interesting experience. It was scary, actually. My mum was particularly scared. She's not a great flyer. My dad, who is a frequent flyer, does, you know, usually 2 or 3 flights a month, even said himself, geez, that was a bit hairy, wasn't it? So we're coming in too fast, too high, all the things that we shouldn't be. So, oh dear. Right, come on. And pulling up, trying to make it over these trees. It was a bit close, to be honest. I think we've just got away with it, but yeah, a bit close for comfort, that. Tiny egg. We were coming in way too fast, basically. Anyway. So we're just going to bank round. A lot of forest area around here. We must be heading the wind. We don't seem to be climbing very quickly at all, so this turbulence is real. So I'm just going to point the nose down a bit. Yeah, we're kind of almost floating, it feels like. So I'm tell you what, I'm not liking this. I'm going to just fly off in this direction. That looks pretty nasty over there. Whoa. Oh dear. Guys, this could end extremely badly. It's actually getting to the point where, like, we're only at 1,000 feet now, and things are starting to get really misty. So I think this is probably a good time to head back and hope that we don't crash on the way there, because this storm is really starting to build. And as you can see, we're bobbing around all over the place. And I'm going to hold about 1,000 feet, and we are at full power, by the way. So that's giving you an idea of the strength of the winds. This would not be a pleasant experience. In fact, it would be downright scary, and probably we wouldn't have even taken off in this weather. But given that we're in a simulator, we did. And we might pay for it. Anyway, let's see. So not only am I about to attempt my second landing in this plane, we're going to do it in a pretty horrendous storm. But that's the whole point. Alright, so we've got the PAPI lights in view. I know we're a bit low, but I don't have my instrument rating for flying in cloud, and also flying in a bloody thunderstorm. Anyway, this looks like the head of the storm, so this could be interesting. Whoa, that was a bit close. It's perfectly fine to get struck by lightning. Well, it's not perfectly fine. You want to avoid it, really. But certainly in a big jet, you wouldn't even hear a bang. It's just a flash of light, really. And that's what happened to us. It doesn't do anything. It's all fully conductive and all that sort of stuff. So there's nothing to worry about. But it's you know, it's a bit unnerving, to say the least. I mean, it was for us as passengers. So I imagine the pilot. I know they're trained and they've dealt with things a lot, but it can't be too much fun. Well, this is pretty wild. I'm liking the cloud textures. This is looks pretty realistic to me. So I'm looking forward to touching down and having a beer in the terminal, because this is the kind of weather that, you know, when you touch down, you get that euphoric kind of feeling that you're alive. So we're going to have to come in, by the looks of it. We've got a headwind, I think, and we're at 76% power, and we're relatively slow. So unless the wind suddenly changes direction, which of course can happen, a bit too high. I'm just going to come back on the power a little bit, see how much we slow down by. I'm also going to put flaps out. That will probably make us bob around a bit more, increasing the surface area. And we're still too high, so I'm just going to power down a little bit more. And try and maintain some sort of runway heading. Alright, okay, it looks like we're low enough now to not experience the worst of the turbulence. That doesn't stop us from getting crosswinds and wind shear and that sort of thing, but hopefully we'll be alright. So we can now afford to slow down a bit. Oops. And need to lose a bit of altitude. Yeah, obviously the lower you get...
500.
Oh dear, that scared me again. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. So if we can just hold that, that looks to be pretty good. We're nicely trimmed. And alright, we're pretty much on the glide slope. 500 feet. Descending 90 knots. Might be a little bit fast, but we've got a long runway here and safety is everything. Oops, we're a little bit coming in a bit too quick. So, alright, whoops, now we're trimmed too high. There we go, right. Okay, a little bit of rudder. Oops, floated up too high. Okay. Well, not too bad, not too bad. Given the circumstances, we can let the airspeed just bleed off on its own. We don't have to waste the... Oops, I've lost my rudder now. We don't have to waste the brakes too much, since we've got all this runway. So yeah. I mean, I'm glad we're down. That was certainly an adventure. And that weather is real. Yeah, I don't think they would have let us fly. I think we would have been very silly to fly in this weather. But given that, we did okay. But you wouldn't put yourself at risk like that usually. Unless there was a clear, there was a sort of gap and you knew you were flying out of the area. All these modern, even the GA aircraft are fitted with weather radars and stuff. This actually might even be modelled in here, I don't know. I need to read up and see whether it is. And you'd see a lot of red and probably pink on this screen, I think. That's where it would be. Indicating, lots of precipitation, because I don't think weather radars don't detect wind, they only detect moisture. So if there's a lot of precipitation, then it will show up as pink. That's like the maximum amount, and you want to avoid that like the plague. and then it's red, and then green, I think, blue. But anyway, we're down, and as the terminal, there is a cold, I've forgotten the name of the Caribbean beer now. There's one in particular that's really good. Anyway, there's one of those waiting for us in the terminal. Look at that palm tree. See, that's how windy it is. We've got a palm tree at 45 degrees. Well, not quite 45 degrees, but amazing. Gotta love the texturing. That's actually pretty accurate, I would say. Okay, guys, so we'll pull up, I don't know, somewhere here, I guess. And basically thank the Lord we're down. So set the parking brake, and we'll power off. And we'll put the flaps up. Turn the fuel off. And turn the lights off, turn the avionics off, turn the alternator off, and lastly that. And then, is it modelled? I think it is. Yeah. We have to get out in that. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that. I found that a lot of fun. And it wasn't a bad landing, considering. By far the best so far out of the two. That was definitely the better one. And given the weather, not too bad at all. I'm getting wet. I'm just going to close this. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed it. And join us for the next episode, I guess. Please share and like, and don't hate me too much for not doing the right thing and pressing the right stuff at the right time. Like I said, this series is all about just flying and having a bit of fun, doing a bit of sightseeing, and getting ourselves into situations that you wouldn't normally do, like flying in a thunderstorm in the Bahamas in a single engine turbo sports plane. All right, nice one, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Take care.